Hey Internet, it's Rev, and I want you to riot with us at the Indie Game Awards. Watch your loading screens closely. We're synchronizing death, relive the East India Trading Company in space, and seriously, it looks like we're a bunch of capitalist whores tonight. Let's hang some bankers and occupy stockbrokers. It's episode 47 of Indie Game Riot. America! Indie Game Riot!
Everybody, it's JaShinYa, and this is episode 47. Oh, yeah. We are just inching one step closer every day to our 1 year anniversary. But we will talk about that later. And you know what we're going to talk about now? Things that no one cares about. Talk about yourselves. Tech.
My voice cracked. So the only thing.
Yeah, as you can tell, Tech hasn't hit puberty.
That is worth mentioning of my last 2 weeks is Killing Floor 2 early access.
God.
Oh, okay, Josh. I know you didn't really care for the first one. All right, Killing Floor 2 is one of the best games that you can play.
It felt like a mod to me. It just felt like a mod.
But it was.
I know,
it was a mod
and
for
that's what
Unreal
I'm saying.
Tournament.
It felt like a mod, so therefore I was like, "Why am I even?"
Because we're probably not going to talk about it. Because we're not going to talk about it on the show. Probably. Here's my review. 4 out of 5 for the early access.
You're not seeing gameplay or anything of this.
I think that the gunplay is some of the best gunplay I've ever experienced. I think that the polish and the way that it runs is freaking fantastic. I really would like to see more of the charm of Killing Floor 1 in Killing Floor 2, but there are only 4 of the 10 perks that they're bringing in. Not even anywhere near close to all the weapons that they're going for. Not anywhere near how many maps they're gonna have. I'm just super excited. I played it for the last it came out like a few days ago. I've already logged like 10 hours on it, and that's not even a lot for some of the people who have pre-ordered this game. Like
the people that are on Steam in our Steam group are saying that anytime they logged in, you were playing that game. Any and every time.
Yeah. Dude, it's so good. And it's funny because I play a lot of PlanetSide 2 and that's been the game that me and Obsidian have played. Obsidian, for those of you who don't know, is the gaming clan that I play with.
Oh, don't.
And now it is all Killing Floor 2. I'll go on there, or I'll get a message from like Squirrel or Wrath or something. It'll be like, fancy some Killing Floor 2? And I'm just like, fuck yeah, I want to play some Killing Floor 2. Damn, that game is so fun. Yes.
Wrath. Is that short for Rathnir?
I do not know.
Oh, okay.
I've known him for a while. Don't know. I will say... Yeah, I don't know. It could be because of the E.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't give a shit.
I was just curious. I knew somebody that went by Wrath back in the day when Medal of Honor Allied Assault was the big game.
Yeah.
And everybody called him Wrath.
That'd be really weird if you knew him, because I found him and another guy we play with, Dirt, who's a cop down in Florida. So if you've been in Florida and been arrested, maybe in Miami,
I have not been arrested in that state yet.
Not yet.
They found me on Payday 2, which I guess the first one could be considered an indie game. But yeah, no, Killing Floor 2 is so good. I highly recommend it because it has the polish of a AAA game, and it's only $30. I'm not paid to say that. I genuinely believe in Tripwire and the quality of game that they make.
You know what else has a polish of AAA games?
What's that?
Rev.
Ah! Sorry, my cat just clocked.
I thought you were really excited.
She was like, calm down, shut up. That hurt.
I thought you were like...
That was an awesome segue.
I thought
my cat was mauling me.
I thought Rev was like... I thought Tech was like excitedly throwing it over to you like, Rev! Like really like macho. All right, go ahead.
I've been busy as fuck. 2 weeks ago, I apologize for missing the show. I had just walked out the door and was starting to load my laptop and everything into my car, and I plugged my phone into my car charger and put my car in gear, and then my phone rang, and it was my boss, and he was like, "Hey, I need you to come back in here. We kind of have an emergency." And I was like, "Oh, okay."
Did something else catch on fire?
No, it wasn't an actual fire. So I turned off the car and grabbed my laptop and rushed back inside. And I realized, it was like 9:30 my time when I finally texted you and was like, "Oh yeah, no, I'm alive. Sorry about that."
Yeah, we legit thought maybe you like crashed on that crazy ass highway.
We were worried.
And I mean, every other week there's a freaking pile up on the highway, and we were sitting there with Chic Monster at the time.
Yeah.
By the way, apologize to her. You missed her. You missed Charmixie, which is 4 days left. Go support it on Kickstarter. But anyway,
okay.
Go ahead.
To make it up to her, I'll go back it on Kickstarter. I finally was like, no, I've reached a point where I can take a quick break. I'm gonna stab somebody if I don't take a quick walk. My cigarettes are out in the car. Okay, so I go outside, grab my. Oh shit, my phone's here. Fuck, that means I didn't remember to like let anybody know. So I've got like a bunch of texts and tweets from Josh and Tech, and I'm like,
you even had a voicemail, a live voicemail.
Yeah, I even had voicemail. Sorsha had messaged me, like she called me, she texted me, she left me a voicemail, and then so I got home at like 2:30, and that was fun, I guess. And then Monday evening, one of our most horrifically pain in the ass clients discovered that their only file server and domain controller and DNS server and all of that fun stuff got hit by a crypto virus. And they didn't discover that until we were 95% of the way through.
Fucking crypto?
How's this even happen? I mean, are there people still stupid enough to open up emails?
Yeah. There are. And they were doing it directly from the server because that's where the infection started. And we had just finished, my coworker and our new PFY had just done a phone cutover. They were going from POTS lines to VoIP. We're just finishing that, and then, the network stops working, and everybody's freaking out. So from Monday at, I want to say, probably 11:30 until Thursday morning, when I arrived at the office at 1 o'clock in the afternoon on Thursday, I had already billed 80 hours.
Wow.
And then Friday was I added another 12 hours on that Thursday night, and then another 8 hours Friday. And I got out at 5, and I got here, and I messaged Josh and Tech and was like, "I'm sorry, I can't do it. I'm so I literally walked in the door, sent you guys the text or the tweets, and laid down and went to sleep."
Yeah, if anyone was looking for the show last week, that's what happened. Couldn't find anyone to come on last minute, so we just decided it was better to take a week off, and but we're back anyway.
Yep. We're back. That's been me. I haven't had time to game. I haven't really had time to read. I've been busy. How about you, Josh?
That's how we should transition every single time now.
Except because I was in pain for the last one. Is that what it is? Is that funny?
Well, the difference was that Tech sounded like he was about to murder some in it a virgin or something like that in a horror movie, and Rev sounded like an eagle.
Banshee.
So anyway, I'm getting ready tomorrow, as a matter of fact, to go to that Newgrounds. Tom Falp invited me to the Newgrounds birthday party.
Cool.
VIP, yo. So I'm excited for that. Tech unfortunately can't come. He was gonna.
Yeah, I'm getting screwed by work. We have a driver that's out of town, and so I had to open the store, which is unprecedented. I'm using that word a lot this episode, but it's I'm I was like, I'm opening the store. I do a shift at 5. I close. Don't make me wake up at 10. But anyway.
Yeah, I'm getting ready to do that. I'm probably going to... He said that we could be there from like 10 in the morning on. I'm probably not going to get there that early because I feel like a loser if I'm like, hey guys, I'm the first one here. So I'll probably get there like noon, 1 o'clock. I don't know how long the thing lasts. I'm expecting it to be all day, but it's supposed to be a cool thing, shindig. A lot of people, because they used to do this thing called the Tank Awards, which, if you don't know Newgrounds, their logo / mascot is like a tank with a guy sticking out of it.
Yeah.
And the Tank Awards was like given to like the best animation, the best musician, blah, 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 all that sort of stuff, the best user on the site. They don't do it anymore, unfortunately. I'm not really sure why, but I thought it was cool. I wish they would. But they used to like dress up like, you know how you would go to like the Emmys or the Oscars or whatever. And I guess people still do that. So I'm trying to decide if I want to
rent a tux.
No, not that much. I was just going to wear like maybe a dress shirt and a tie with
an indie
with
tux.
Jeans. An indie tux.
Yeah. So you shouldn't have
Like
shaved because you're not going to be able to pull it off
jacket,
now.
Like shirt, tie, cummerbund, suit jacket, and a pair of jeans.
I'm also a little. I'm kind of wondering like how wild of a party it gets because there's going to be booze that they're just going to give out too.
It's probably going to get a little bit crazy.
I'm a little. I mean, the people in Newgrounds are weird. You know what I mean? So it's going to get a little weird.
Right. But from the interview that we had with Tom.
Tom's a cool guy,
MagFest,
so maybe not.
Yeah, he's a cool guy. I feel like he'd be chill enough to be like, yeah, man. I mean,
maybe it's just
the
gonna
party
be like
people are going to be party people are going to party. May as well let them have it. You know.
Yeah. So if it does get crazy, I'm just in case I'm going to bring myself into enough to share with other people some indie news injection.
Are you bored with the same old games?
Yeah.
Why, then give yourself an indie news injection.
Thanks, Indie Games.
This week on Indie News Injection, we have a game that you may have, the third game in a series of games that you may have already checked out or maybe played the prequels to. We are talking about Trine 3, The Artifacts of Power. Trine 1 and Trine 2 are awesome, and everybody loved them. Over 7 million copies were sold, and I own 2 of those copies.
And just to point out, too, the fact that this we're not putting this in like our regular segments is because it's so popular. It doesn't need...
No, Trine, you say Trine, and people are like, oh, yeah, that game. And let me tell you, when you look at this game, you're like, you know, Trine 1 and Trine 2, they are very, very similar. Trine 3, it's a punch in the face of awesome. All right? You still got the old awesome Trine, Trine mechanics, but damn does this game look good. They turned a side-scrolling beat-em-up awesome game into, like, this game looks freaking cool. This game looks better than Hand of Fate. Like, visually speaking.
They did a really nice job. They switched it. Yeah, so for those of you who don't know Trine, they switched it from... It was a 2D side-scroller. Now it is 3D.
It's 2.75.
Well, they're using 3D graphics, but it's...
Yes.
There's more depth in the game, and the modeling is just really beautiful.
It's using a new engine. You know, one of the crazy things that this game really reminds me of is back in the day playing Jak and Daxter 1, like Jak and Daxter: The Precursor Legacy on the PS2. Like, I don't know what it is, but this game just reminds me of that, and it's the best.
That's weird that
it's
Jak and Daxter.
Yeah, no, it's the way that everything looks, and the fact that they really transposed the 2D fighting into a 3D environment as well as they did, and the platforming and everything. It just reminds me of certain parts, and it just makes me happy.
And it is also an early access right now,
Yes.
So you can buy it on Steam. It's early access because they switched it to 3D. They want to know, since this is their first time they're putting it in 3D. They want to make sure that it's doing right, and they want to get feedback, which is their reasoning for putting it into early access. Because you're like, well, you sold 7 million copies. You don't need funding. You know, usually people put things in early access because they want to get the money flow going as they're producing the game.
Right.
And
they have money.
That's sort of the move, and I know this isn't our discussion topic, but that's sort of the move that a lot of big companies are taking now. Like I was talking about one of my great game that's in early access in the intro, and their reasoning for it was going in like, hey, we want your opinions on this. We actually value your player base. Our player base, tell us what you think of this. Tell us if something isn't working or not. We only have so many machines.
Right.
And the fact that these companies are doing that, where they know that they have the capital up front, they know that they have the development, they know that the game is already like, ready to ship with certain amounts of work put into it, that they're going out and they're telling the fans, hey, you can buy it early and it's not going to be done, but we'd love to hear what you think about it, is just so...
That's the way early access should be used.
And
yes, exactly.
And by the way, if we talk about early access, it might not get done. This is about as safe as you can get as far as early access game goes.
It's Trine.
3,
although you're not, like it's not the full game, but it's the full. You're getting the full. You're going to get the full game. It's Trine. I definitely check it out right now for the next 4 days. Today is April 24th until April 28th. It is 10% off, $17.99, normally $19.99, or you can buy a 3-pack for $50, which is awesome because Trine is only fun when you play with your friends.
Yeah,
really.
it is more fun when you play with friends.
Yeah,
I have a let's play. I have a let's play up of it, and when I played with Wizfish and Casey, and then another girl from YouTube, and it was ridiculous. Like we were like mentally challenged when while playing that game or something. But fully expect Trine. And who are the devs again? I'm sorry.
The devs for Trine are Frozen Bite with a Y. Definitely check it out. Check them out on Steam. Check them out on their website, which I can't seem to...
Trine3.com.
Yeah.
And it actually just loops right back to the Steam page anyway. But
yeah, exactly.
And they're expected to get a lot more money, but who else is going to get more money?
Indie devs. Indie devs. So you might have heard there's a little pop culture convention called Indie PopCon, and it's a con for fans by fans, and their biggest thing is fans are we're difficult people. We're difficult people. We're eclectic people, and everybody has their own fandoms that they're a big part of. For example, like some people are really big into comics, others are really big into pornography, some people are really big into, Halo
And we just happen to be really into indie games.
So this independent convention, the Pop Culture Convention, has just announced that they are rebooting the Indie Game Awards. And what is going to happen is if you are an indie dev and you are a presenter or an exhibitor at PopCon this year, you are automatically entered in to win a $10,000 prize to put towards your game development. And that's kind of that's a hefty chunk of change.
Yeah, that's bigger
than IGF.
Jay Tholen was looking for Dropsy the Clown.
Right?
That's more than you get from winning the grand prize at IGF.
So it is definitely a big thing. I expect there is going to be a lot of competition for it. I don't know if they are still accepting registrations. I believe they are because the convention is June 26th through the 28th in Indianapolis, Indiana, at the Indiana Convention Center. They've got everything from Doctor Who to indie games, and they realize they have a special section set up specifically for indie game devs to put in their application to exhibit. They've got 3 booth levels to give you various options, and that's based on your size requirements and if you need electricity and how much space you need, etc. So if you need some more info at indiepopcon.com is their email address. If you are going to apply, it is indiepopcon.com, and then click on the whole thing that says register here or something like that. Any questions on that one? Yeah, no.
I wish we could go.
Right?
Yeah, that's all
really,
that's like in Indianapolis.
It's Indiana,
so
yeah.
It's in between.
It's Indiana, which is like the butthole of America.
And it's also going to conflict with another date that we're going to be talking about later in the show. That, guys. But, moving on to other things in news.
Other things in news. Just you remember Indie Game the movie? There's a new movie coming out for indie games, like a documentary style, called Game Loading: Rise of the Indies. It seems I haven't watched it because you have to buy it. I just discovered it today, to be honest. It seems to be the same style as the indie game was, but much more concentrated on the indie game scene as opposed to
developing the game,
as opposed to just a few games being developed. You know what I mean? It was very indie game. The movie was concentrated on Super Meat Boy, Fez, and a little bit on Braid. This seems to be much more the whole thing and much more well rounded. So it kind of excites me a little bit. They actually talk to not just the game creators. They also talk to journalists and people who teach in universities and things like that, artists, all sorts of stuff. I was trying to look around and see if I could find like maybe a list of people who were going to be featured in there. I didn't see anything, so unfortunately I can't tell you that since I just found it today. Additional research may be required, but it is cool to know that we're getting a little bit, the whole indie scene is getting a little bit more notice, and this is like a high quality documentary too. So you actually can buy it on Steam, I think for $8, $7 or $8.
It's $8 right now.
$8. So
or you can
$9.
buy the bundle for 15.
Buy the bundle for 15. So that is that. You know what else you can buy in a bundle? Sticks. But that has nothing to do with what we're talking about next.
You know what you can do with a bunch of sticks? A bundle of sticks. You light them on fire and you throw it at a bank. Starting the riot.
That's
No.
What's happening right now?
The riot yet.
No one's starting
the riot yet. We have more important things than starting the riot. Josh, I'm going to steal this from you a little bit.
Okay. Wait.
Riot has I'm not going to steal it, actually.
Go ahead.
I'm going to steal the transition.
Indie
Game Riot has some news for you. For those of you who have been sticking around, you might notice that there's been a lot of time that has elapsed from the first episode.
As time is wont to do.
Yes.
So, our very first episode 1, what was it? Threes we talked about.
Yeah. Threes. Contagion.
I'd have to go look. Contagion was on. Anyway, our very first episode came out May 5th. Today is, at the time of recording, is April 24th. So that is in a couple of weeks, a week and a half or something like that.
Oh my God.
So it's coming up on a year, and it's flew by, and I'm very excited. We're planning on having a fun time. Maybe it depends on people's schedules, but we got to work it out. I was thinking this is all just thoughts right now, what we're going to do. Maybe some live streaming of games, hanging out with people that have been loyal listeners and all that stuff. And giveaways. Definitely we're going to do giveaways.
Yeah.
We have
Do you want to announce the games that we're going to be giving away?
This
Josh?
is as of well, go ahead. What's that?
I was going to say Threes, Contagion, and Dark Deception.
Yep. I remember all of those games because they're.
If you go back and watch
so
that
good.
first episode, A, we apologize. We were still getting our feet under us. And B, that's awesome. A fucking year. Can you believe it?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. What's crazy is that, like, those were the games that we had all sort of like played and like had experience with, and so it's like to think that Contagion came out even before the first episode of Indie Game Riot, and like the fact that Rev, how long had I known you? Like a week?
No, it was 2 weeks.
2 weeks. There we go. Yeah,
we did do some development work.
Yeah, that's true.
After you got brought onto the team.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah,
like think about everything that we've done in that year.
It's amazing. We've been to.
I mean, we talked about that during
conventions.
We talked about like what we did during what was it, New Year's? I think we wrote an article about it. And yeah, even just now, just thinking about all the conventions that we've gone to, all the people we've interviewed, all the games we've talked about, all the just really cool stuff. We did the first Riot of the Year award, which is going to be sent out.
Going to be mailed to France soon, I promise.
Soon. It's a lot of work when you're sending things overseas. Plus, it's just a lot of work, but it's going to be worth it.
Making trophies is hard.
And the website, and after the Indiegogo campaign website. And all that stuff. Man, and there's so much more that we want to do. And the
craziest thing is that all of this is because of you, the person who is currently watching or listening to this podcast.
Yes,
which is awesome too, because like we've had such a consistent and I know this is going to be stuff for the 1 year anniversary, but it's like we've had such a consistent fan base that's only grown and only shown us more and more support the more we've done, to the point where we've been able to bite off more than we can chew, or so we think, and bring video to the podcast, and actually get a website and on iTunes and on Stitcher and all that awesome stuff, and like bring on like Tim Donnelly and all the crazy amounts of interviews we've had on the show, and all the conventions and the interviews we've had on there, and it's like
that we've befriended.
It's like I always try to downplay it.
We made in this community.
Exactly. Like I always try to downplay what we're doing, because on the surface it's just like, I do a podcast with two of my friends on Friday nights.
I don't wear pants, and we make
exactly. But really, like we're pouring our hearts and our souls out into this show.
Well, it's because this isn't just, at least for me, I'm going to speak for myself here. It's not just a hobby. It's not, people do podcasts like, because it's fun. And yes, of course it's fun. Yeah. That's why we do it, and that's why we started in the first place. But I personally, I take this seriously. I take it professionally.
Yeah.
It's even though sometimes we act like idiots, but I consider
that's part of the fun of it. This is the kind of job where we can act.
I mean, when you think about it, like when you look at some of the big names in gaming media, IGN, for instance. When that first started, it was started up by like a 13-year-old, and they still had things like Babe of the Day on the website. All right, so
I forgot about that.
Right. So, and look at them now; they're like the leading gaming website on the internet right now. And this is first of all, we're well past Babe of the Day status. I think
Babe of the Day was past Josh and I's first podcast.
That was the early '90s stuff.
Oh, dude,
exactly.
You should have heard. You should have heard one of the podcasts I did with, if you remember, Mr. Bipolar. Jay Jones.
Do.
That was a ridiculous. Anyway, so yeah, I mean, we're probably going to repeat a lot of this next week, because next week is the anniversary show that we're going to do. It's going to be a little bit early because Friday falls on a first, as opposed.
Do you want to tease some of the games that we're going to be giving away?
Yeah.
We don't know the exact terms of the giveaway, but we know what we're going to be giving away.
Well, Hitbox actually has a giveaway. Hitbox has a giveaway thing, like a tool.
Really? Oh, is that how we're going to do it?
I was thinking about using that.
That'd be kind of cool. We should do that for half of them, and so the people who don't watch us live have. Yeah,
definitely. So
games that you can win.
At the moment, what we have available, and this is liable to grow, the list.
But we have it's subject to change.
Grow, I promise.
Clusterpuck 99, Hector, Towncraft, Boyd, The Spatials, Always Sometimes Monsters twice, Torchlight 2 twice, Contraption Maker, and The Novelist currently. And of course, thank you to those devs that are sending us those extra codes and everything like that.
And hey, some of that stuff's coming out of our own pocket, by the way.
Some of it is, yeah.
Just saying, like, some of it's devs, some of it's us, because we,
but it's all indie games.
It's all indie games, and it's all freaking awesome. Like we, like Josh, Rev, and I always talk about. We started this because the community wanted it. We are all about community, bringing people together around indie games. If you meet us at a convention and you pretend like you don't know who we are, that's exactly what we're going to say about the website and the podcast. And we're just I'm personally really excited to be a part of this that has lasted so freaking long. Like, we're talking, like, I got a job, Rev got a job, like we've my beard has grown. It is, and then shrank and then grown.
Yeah, I shaved
like,
actually.
Yeah, exactly.
I shaved 2 days ago.
Now that you guys have done that, I feel this obligation not to shave. Just so I'm like, yeah, this is my Indie Game Riot beard. I haven't touched it since Indie Game Riot, and that's just how
what you should do is get some some really strong glue, like gel, and mold into an
like IGR.
Yeah, we could do that. You know what else we could do is we could also talk about this other cool thing that we were talking about on Twitter earlier, and I know this segment's running really long, but this is
cool. It's worth it.
Very important.
It makes me excited.
Now,
like my nipples are so perky right now.
Who here who is listening, whether it is in the live show or the recorded version, is going to Too Many Games in Philadelphia? Because if you are, make sure to pick up a card and possibly other cool shit that we have, because IGR is not only going to Too Many Games, but we have a panel. What day is the panel, Josh?
The panel is, I believe, Saturday.
Let
me double check. Go ahead, talk.
So IGR, we applied for a panel a few weeks ago.
IGR East.
Yes, Indie Game Riot East, which is me and Josh, or Josh and I, if you want to be grammatically correct, applied for a panel at Too Many Games, which is a games convention up in Philadelphia. If you haven't already gathered that from me rambling on about it while waiting for Josh to open up that email. And we are going to be having a panel about why you shouldn't be afraid of indie games and some of the awesome indies that we've met along the way of this year. The over 100 games that we have played and featured on the show that you guys have been a part of. And if you want to meet us, if you want to check out the awesome panel that we're going to be doing, it's basically going to be a live IGR episode. Not the same format, completely different topics.
Yeah.
But you're going to want to check it out. Josh, why don't you give us some of the details?
Yeah, so actually what happened was when we applied for it, they said, what are your preferred days? Saturday was my first preferred day, and then Friday, and then Sunday. They did not confirm that, so I won't promise anything.
Okay.
But at the moment, what we wanted was Saturday in the afternoon. So as soon as it's confirmed, I'll let everyone know. But it is approved at least.
What are the days on that?
It is the 26th through the 28th
of
June.
Son of a. Okay.
You're going to be busy,
all right,
aren't you?
I might be meeting my biological father that weekend.
For the first time, or just
for the first time?
Wow. We'll talk about
that.
That's news for another time.
Great to meet you.
Bye.
I need your internet connection now.
Well, that's breaking news on Indie Game Riot.
Yeah, really. But definitely, like, for those hardcore fans that are on the East Coast who can make it to Too Many Games, it is surprisingly inexpensive to attend. It is cheaper than MagFest. It is cheaper than Origins Game Fair. You know, definitely check it out.
It is just outside of Philadelphia. So if you're
just outside of Philadelphia, what an awful town. What an
That's
awesome
why it's outside
convention.
Philadelphia.
It's outside of Philadelphia.
Yes, exactly. It's
Oaks.
really great, and you'll
Oaks,
be able to
Pennsylvania.
meet us. We'll sign stuff if you want. We're getting big.
Sign stuff.
I don't know.
Yeah, that's a
I'll bring
little bit.
Sharpie.
That's a little bit too much hubris there.
You can pluck one of Tech's beard hairs and
I will.
memorialize it.
If you can remember watching this episode and be like, "Can I pluck one of your beard hairs?" I'm just gonna be like, "Yes." And then I'm going to turn to my girlfriend and be like, you have to film this every single time. And it might not happen except for maybe once. But, that's I have a very clean beard. You know what else is a really clean beard, though?
A bird flies out of it.
The segment
Russians.
where we talk about, games that you can buy right now, which is Starting the Riot.
And this week on Starting the Riot, we have Dead Synchronicity. Tomorrow Comes Today. This game is actually it's intriguing. I'm gonna preface it with that. I watched the trailer for this, and if you saw earlier in the show, I have not had time to play any games, so I apologize for not being as up to speed on this as I would want to. But I watched the trailer, and the first thing that jumped out at me was, oh my god, this is like Dark Tower, the video game, in modern times. And as I was reading more on it and looking at it, like, it really is. Basically, the quick rundown on the game is there's this pandemic that is eating humanity. Basically, it's dissolving it. They're called the Dissolved, and basically you get sick, and then you become delirious, and then you have supernatural cognitive powers, telepathy and telekinesis and telepathic and whatever else.
Telepathetic?
Sorry, long-term inside joke. But basically, there's this series of natural disasters that destroys every energy source in existence, and communications, and everybody's just plunged into chaos. This is totally, as an anarchist, this is my ideal situation. And you're playing as Michael, a guy that has amnesia, and it's a very, very dystopian plot. The art style, I will say, I haven't encountered anything quite like this before. It is definitely stylistic in terms of the games that I've encountered. It's currently for sale on Steam, $19.99. It is single player only. They have subtitles for every language that they do it on.
Speaking of the gameplay, just so everyone knows, the gameplay in the video right now is in German. That's why you're seeing German. So
Michael,
it is in English, so don't be like
Michael.
so don't think that you can't get in English. It's in English. It just happens to be that this one. You just had me saying I just said this one without even trying. This one is just happens to be in German, so just so you know.
Okay. And it is point and click, and they got a quote out of Tim Schafer, and I don't like this quote. Like, I enjoy Tim Schafer. He's got a fun sense of humor, and I wish I knew the surrounding context for this, because he reviewed it, and his review is, only look if you like cool art and dark, noiry adventure games. With an exclamation mark. But, like, to me, that doesn't say excitement, and that kind of irritates.
No. I would argue that this game has a lot more than what I guess Tim Schafer has to say about this.
This does had when I put this on the list, an 81 out of 100 on Metacritic. So Metacritic's pretty accurate when it comes to, as far as the user reviews anyway. So I mean, 81 out of 100 is pretty good, and then right now it's like 79. I think it dropped a little bit, but there is that to go with. Sorry.
Yeah, exactly. And,
so it's a point and click adventure, and you're
Jack's been trying to say something for like.
It doesn't matter. Go ahead.
Sorry. No. Go ahead.
I don't matter.
So I think that the main distinction that this game has over a lot of the other games that we've talked about that have been a very similar style is that the feeling of this game and the style of this game and the art and the animation and everything sort of set it in a different place to me, because there are some point and click games that have been out there and that we've played that have been like, okay, I see where you're going with this. This is very much so like a clone of this, or it's very simple.
This doesn't remind me of like really anything.
No, it doesn't remind me of anything either. And the other crazy thing is that it plays very, very smoothly, and that's another really great thing that they're bringing to the table here, because it is a point and click adventure, yes, and the fans of point and click are going to love that. But the fact that it plays so well, and visually it's appealing, and every single thing that you scroll over is going to have a visual indicator as to whether what you can do with that, and whether you can pick it up or look at it, or what have you. It just, the developers really I think innovated in a direction that I wouldn't have personally innovated, and I give them a lot of credit for it.
Part of that comes from their inspiration. Like they did a very good job of integrating the mechanics of like some of the old school point and clicks, like Monkey Island or Day of the Tentacle.
I was gonna say Monkey Island's probably the closest thing I could compare this to.
Day of the Tentacle and Monkey Island are mechanically seem to be right there, but they've also blended it with with a couple of their inspirations. I don't know if you've played the game I Have No Mouth and I Must Scream. Like,
I know
that is one of my all-time favorite games, and it was one of their inspirations. Like, they've managed to take this blend of humor and entertainment and mechanical simplicity with complexity of puzzles, and mixed it with a gritty kind of like, no, this is an adult world, and this is for like, I'll be honest. If you're looking for a lighthearted, fun game to play with your kids on a weekend, this is not the game for you.
Hey, kids, everybody dies.
I think Rev. I think you put that the best possible way that it could. Like, there were thoughts that
with your kids.
Well, no. Before that, like there were thoughts that were going through my head about this game, and you just explained it perfectly. Like, I think that if this game needs a blurb on a website, that's it. Seriously.
So, yeah, it's a classic adventure game that a lot of fun. The soundtrack is amazing. The voice acting is definitely not bad. What I was able to catch of it, again, I'm basing this entirely off of the trailers and a quick dip into the demo. I want to get this game, and if I had time to plug in my credit card info, I probably would buy it right now.
So the mechanic I just saw in the video too, talking about the whole telepathic, psychic type thing.
Telepathetic.
It seemed nice. It seems like that. Remember that game we were talking about with the leap motion, where you kind of have to change your perspective by switching in and out of different.
Yeah.
Present, future. This seems kind of the same kind of mechanic, where in order to solve puzzles, you have to switch in and out of like some sort of psychic world. It's the same world that you're in, but it changes everything based on whatever the power is. Which is always a cool mechanic too. You're seeing it in the video right now, and it kind of like you see a piece fall off of the trailer there.
Yeah.
So it's cool that they're mixing that in with a point and click adventure, because point and click adventures have the tendency to be very straightforward as far as mechanics go. It's just like, okay, click, 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 collect items, walk here, solve a puzzle. So there's a little bit more going on here, and also the art. We talked about the art. It sets it apart from most, just about all games, really.
Yeah.
It's not that I'm not a fan of this art, but for some reason, this art makes me feel weird.
I think that's intentional. I think because part of what they're trying to instill through the course of this is this dystopian, everything is fucked kind of experience. And if you get that kind of something's off, but I can't quite explain it, they've managed to, through just the artwork, instill that feeling in you. And I really think that was an intentional aspect. And I got to give them props.
For those of you who aren't watching the podcast live or in video form and are on iTunes or Stitcher or listening to this podcast in your car or wherever you listen to it.
On your email.
Yes, exactly.
We also have a Reddit and a Steam community.
No, but seriously,
by Domino's.
Like the art is very, very much like lines and straight, and everything's elongated in a certain way, and it's very gritty and very dirty. All the colors are very neutral.
I think the detailing and the lining of it too it's weird. You know what? Okay, you know what the art kind of reminds me of? Sans like the darkness of this game. If you remember, if you've ever seen them, and they might even still have them. Like there were like these Bible cartoons back in the 90s.
I think I know which ones you're talking about.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
I don't know what they're called. But they had like a similar kind of art where it was very like etched lining and
like really hard lines, like really heavy outlines,
and the animation was kind of choppy like this is. You know what I mean? The style is, and for some reason those things made me weird. Like it made me feel weird too, and it wasn't because it was religious. It was just the art. I don't know about it, but anyway.
and I think that's another really good choice that these developers made, because the art. I mean, obviously the style of it, like it's supposed to be a post-apocalyptic world. You feel like you're in a post-apocalyptic world, but the character design and just everything that you interact with, and even like, this might sound weird, but even the font is like, it all works. Like nothing brings you out of it. It's a very well-polished game. And if you're really looking for that, gritty punch in the face sort of, this is the adult point and click adventure that you've been looking for. I mean, there's no reason not to at least check the site out.
Right. So, anything else you have to say?
Fictiorama Studios is the developer. Mad props to you guys. And seriously, I'm excited. If somebody wants to buy this for me, I might have a couple of hours this weekend. No, in 2 weekends, I will have a couple of hours where I will totally sit down and play this. But otherwise, it'll have to wait until the middle of next month. But Dead Synchronicity tomorrow comes today. Find out what the fuck's going on in Earth.
They did win awards, by the way.
Yes, they did.
Oh, yeah.
They won the Visual Art Unity China Award, the Big Indie Pitch second prize, and the Pocket Gamer and Visual Art for the
Granada Gaming Festival.
That's it. I wanted to say Grandma. I was like, that's not
Grandma's Gaming Festival.
Yeah, that's what threw me off. So it's an award-winning point and click. Definitely check it out if you're interested. And if you are interested, after the show, we might be doing some, pay to watch stuff.
What?
No, I don't know.
I don't even know where
I was going.
I think you were to a titty bar.
Yeah. Peep show.
Our
that was.
I may have gone a little bit too
awkward.
Please give all your attention to Early Access.
And this week on Peep Show, we have an RTS that instead of making you fight the Huns or the Celts or the, futuristic enemy that you choose, you are trying to fight the capitalistic market in the game. Hold on. Wow. Everything is so messed up. I am so sorry. Offworld Trading Company.
Did you forget the name of the game?
No, I know. It's just I was distracted.
He's just drunk in the letters.
Yeah, exactly. So Offworld Trading Company, basically you are a company that has landed on Mars and is tasked with mining resources and playing the market and screwing your competition. Instead of building an army of enemies to destroy your army to destroy your enemies' buildings. Sorry about that. You are tasked with building an economic empire and gaming the stock market to, make money off of water and other resources that are at your disposal to beat your opponents in this awesome RTS Mars world that is so cool. So this is a game by one of the creative directors of Civ 4, and he also worked on Civ 3 among other games, as well as the other developers who are working on it. But basically, you have landed on Mars, and you have to explore Mars, mine resources, and sell them on the market. And the market is constantly changing. The people you are playing against are mining other resources on Mars and selling them out, and so the market is in flux, and so you might be mining a lot of water.
Economic.
Well, there is actually a little bit of battling and fighting.
There is. So you can deploy spies to spy on their corporate their corporate dealings, or try to take over other buildings and sabotage their blimps, which are transporting resources around the world. And so there is combat
on Mars.
Exactly.
Blimps on Mars, yeah, that's gangster.
I mean, it's Mars. It's going to take a while for the resources to travel away. Use blimps. There's no atmosphere. It's fine. So yes, this is an RTS economic. This is an RTS economic based game, and.
We were talking before this in our break, and you guys mentioned that the team had a lot of the team has experience with the Civ games.
Yeah.
And I definitely can see that. Like everything that I'm seeing in the game itself, it's definitely it's that isometric 4X type game.
Yeah.
but in the RTS style that the 4X games don't adhere to. And
I think the 4X style is more of a graphical choice rather than a actual gameplay option, because you have the hex based
well, even in the construction of like the cities and or not the cities but the settlements and everything like that, you can see it, if you remember in Civ, like how they kind of like start off as this little thing in the middle of the hex, and then it grew and expanded outwards, and you can see it grow as you do stuff.
But I'll probably be the first person to say I don't really like the Civilization games. Like, I really like the real time strategy, like actual RTS, not turn based RTS Civ games. I'm not big on it, and the fact that the developers of, or not the developers, but people who have worked on turn based strategy games have moved to RTS is very welcoming to me, and I really enjoyed that aspect.
People with limited attention spans.
Well, I mean, to be fair, these games are, timed to be around. It is a shorter game than Civ, obviously. Yeah. It is also a shorter game to RTSs that I would say are the pinnacle of RTSs, like Empire Earth or Supreme Commander 1, where a game can last up to 12 hours and at minimum 3 to 4. They're looking at a 30-minute around their gameplay where you land down, you build everything, and you win or lose in about 30 minutes, which is really kind of nice coming from an RTS standpoint.
That's a really good idea.
Exactly. Because a lot of the RTSs that I love take a day, and in some cases will take multiple days.
Well, Civ is multiple days, depending on how long.
I have had but Civ isn't even really an RTS. I've had I personally haven't, but I've had friends who have played games of Supreme Commander where they are playing with a guy in Germany and a guy in Australia, and so it's 3 different time zones, and it'll last 4 days where they will queue up enough things so they can go to bed for 5 to 6 hours, wake up, and then see if they've lost, and it'll last a few days. And the fact that you can hop on here, hop on Skype, or hop on, have a friend bring their laptop and play in the same room for a few hours, or even 30 minutes, as they're saying, play a game. That's, I mean, like, as ridiculous as it sounds, that's revolutionary to the RTS genre.
I can see that. So a little bit, because Tech's going to just keep rambling his economic theories on RTS. A little bit about the game. It is currently in beta. It's an open beta. Unfortunately, you do have to pre-purchase the game in order to join said beta. It is $39.99,
which is a bit steep.
I think that's a little pricey.
That's the most expensive.
No, it's not the most expensive. But
peep show that we've talked about?
No. Well,
really? Yeah,
it's up there. I don't know, but I think that might be
5
coming
points
from,
if you can prove us otherwise.
Yeah,
I'd have to go look into the thing, but I think that's coming from them being AAA devs.
That's true.
That's just my theory on that. They're like, we're AAA devs. This is what we're used to getting paid for this,
Which might be part of it. It might also be that this game's truly worth that.
Oh, it could be. It could be.
That's
but
true.
I think for an early access game, maybe not.
Yeah. I would say that. Well, but you have to understand that they're going to be launching at that price, and I think that if you can get 2 or 3 friends into it, it would definitely be worth it. If you have 2 or 3 friends who are dedicated to it, and so
Well, and going back to that earlier part though, where you said they come out of a AAA environment. Brad Wardell kind of big name. He founded Stardock Studio.
Yeah.
And they're now one of those names that everybody knows.
Well, they're actually
you may not have ever played any of their games, but you've
who
heard
Stardock
of it. Is.
Yeah.
You've seen their emblem.
Well, they're actually publishing this. The developer is Mohawk.
Mohawk Games is the team of developers. Soren Johnson, Dorian Newcomb, and
Soren Johnson is a well-known name. I've known that name.
Yeah. And Brad Wardell. So they come from this really big-time group, and honestly, I can see that level. How to phrase this? I can see that element to it as to why they took it indie as opposed to keeping it as a AAA game. You would never be able to sell this at a AAA level.
Yeah. No, not at all.
But with a smaller team and a lot more freedom,
yeah, exactly.
Galactic Civilization, this isn't.
No,
but it's a lot. It looks like a lot of fun, and I can't do math, but I'm actually interested in trying to math this thing out.
And the best part is that they're not only focusing, and I know that in all the AAA trash, as we call it and joke around about, it's all about the multiplayer experience, but they really are genuinely trying to make an RTS that is both very fun in single player and very fun playing with or against your friends in an online match.
The video you're seeing is multiplayer. You're seeing
yes, exactly.
The players' names pop up on the YouTube video or whatever.
Yeah, and so they are already designing an AI that is very adept at gaming the system without actually literally cheating. And I know a lot of RTSs have cheating AI options that have shipped with the with the games. And they really do care about this game, and seeing a lot of AAA developers coming down and being like, this is
not coming down.
Not coming down.
They're coming up.
That's a good point. Coming up to the indie game scene and being like, this is the game I've always wanted to make, and I have all of this experience developing for amazingly well received AAA titles, and bringing that to you at a price point that isn't $60 at launch, and then multiple DLC options is not only refreshing but really makes me hopeful for the RTS community and the games in the future as a whole, because I would argue that RTS games are in the top 3 game genres that I just love and will never ever stop playing.
Right.
Something else about them, they're really big about community, and that's kind of what drew me to this. They do a stream every Thursday at noon Pacific time, where they get together and they're doing their development work, and they stream it out.
And if you're putting so much into the multiplayer, then that's kind of a must do kind of a thing.
And this game, listening to developers and reading what they say and hearing what they have to say in the videos that they've posted, one of the best explanations for early access reasons was given by, this game, and it was the lead developer, which was that they aren't trying to make a game in a vacuum. They aren't trying to be like the AAA games where it's like, this is what people like, this is what makes money, we're going to sell this to the people and it's going to be great. It's literally, we're trying to make a game for the players that like playing this game, and that's why we're going early access. They're not necessarily looking for, early funding that a lot of these developers need, especially in these indie titles. They're really looking to make the game that the RTS player, the economic stock market game player really wants, and that just brings that makes me trust the developer a lot more. And even though they're saying that and they're posting it on the website, I genuinely believe through the gameplay and everything that they're giving to the public, I genuinely believe that, and I think that if this is a game that interests you, you definitely need to check it out. It is currently on Steam for
$39.99.
$39.99. I know we already talked about it. So definitely check it out. Offworldgame.com. And, you know, if you like it, you like it. If you don't like it, you know, that's okay.
You know what else? You know what a lot of people like?
What's that?
Mobile games.
Mobile
free
game.
fun. No, free fun.
No.
Wait.
It is.
No, it's
going
mobile. It's going mobile.
Nope, this is free fun.
No, it has
free
to
fun.
be.
Free fun. Free fun. Free
It's
fun.
one or
free
the
fun,
other.
free
We're going
fun.
to the next one. Going mobile.
Next segment.
Going mobile. This week on Going Mobile, because it is going mobile, not free fun, as Revwood had, it is in fact going mobile, because if you remember last week it was free fun. It's going mobile. To reiterate, going mobile. This week, but because he said free fun, this game is actually free on Steam, so it is on PC, but I decided to put it into mobile because it's also on mobile, and we have less mobile games to talk about than we do free games. The game I am talking about is called AdVenture Capitalism, and let me bring up that gameplay because I'm not prepared. There we go. Basically, it's really simple. It's a satire on capitalism, and what's funny is that you can pay them, which is capitalism at work. You can pay them. It's like, you know, they have like little in-game transactions, but it's definitely not. One thing that's nice is that it's definitely not, as far as the paying for stuff goes, it is pay to win, but you're not playing against anyone. It's not in your face. Like, it's literally just like a button there, and you're like, if you want to buy stuff here, buy it. Otherwise, everything else you can just do yourself. You start off buying lemonade stands. You buy them for, you know, $30 or something like that. And the whole point of it is to keep buying them and keep upgrading them until you you can diversify. You start buying newspaper routes, donut shops, car wash, pizza shop, donut shop, shrimp boats, all sorts of stuff. You can buy upgrades to make more money, or to make money faster. You can hire managers, which will, like, because usually it's like a clicker game. When you first start off, you have to click it in order for it to make money. The managers will automatically do that for you, so you no longer have to click. If you see in the gameplay there, you can see all the stuff just going. And this guy's pretty far into the game. He's making I can't even Trigintillion. I don't count that high. Yeah, it is Bubba Gump. The shrimp is actually Bubba Gump shrimp. Not really. I don't know. But the guy's making untrigintillion. Is that a number?
No,
maybe.
I don't know. I can't count that high. So yeah, it's really simple. Let's see. There's achievements in the game, and
I really like the art style. It's kind of reminiscent of the promotional art for the Fallout games.
Yeah, the guy is a little bit
can
Fallout-y. The developer is Hyper Hippo, so you can thank them for that. There was something else I was going to say. Damn it. I think. There is.
It's a new release.
It is a new release. There is an end game. It
came out March 30th, like a month ago.
There is an end game. The end game is buy the world, the Earth, and you win. So there's that. You can, and actually one thing that's interesting about the game is you start off really slow, and the more money you make, the more investors, quote, quote, that you attract. And if you attract investors, the investors will give you, you would basically sell everything that you have to them, and you would start the game over. But if you do that, the investors then allow you, for every investor that you've attracted, the faster and the more money your things will make the next time around.
So it's kind of it's a more than single layer complexity to the economics on it.
Right, and then
I could dig that.
The investors are also called angels in this, like angel investors, and those angels also give you upgrades if you can use those angels, because you sell it off, you get angels, and it also gives you that perk of selling things faster and for more. But the angels you can also use to upgrade even more things, like little tools like you can see on the screen there, everything's counting per second. Usually it says how much you're going to make, in the time that it takes for it to go up, the meter. But now it's just showing you how much you're making per second, all that sort of stuff. So
this is an interesting game.
I think if you're a fan of clicker games, and it's not like a full clicker game because you're not clicking all the time, but it is kind of. But if you're a fan of it, this is going to get. It's strangely addicting, because I played it on Steam. Because I'm poor. I don't have anything mobile, but I played it on Steam, and I was like, people were like, my wife and Casey, who's here, he's asking me, he was like, why? What is it about the game? Why do you keep going back to it? And by the way, it makes money while you're not playing it.
Oh, that's a good point.
So you can leave it go for a week, and you'll come back with,
Not real money. Just putting that out.
No, not real money. I wish. I do find myself thinking a lot as I'm playing this, like, I wish I could make $1 trillion a second.
I think that's sort of like the type of game that we've realized Indie Game Riot likes to play, because Bitcoin Billionaire, every once in a while there's a week where I'm just like, I need Bitcoin Billionaire. And clicker games like Cookie Clicker or Candy Lollipop Clicker game, whatever it is, just really appeal to me, and I guess it really appeals to both of you.
I've put hundreds of hours
exactly
into those. Yeah.
So if you like Cookie Clicker or Bitcoin Billionaire or Lollipop something, I can't remember what it's called, you might want to check out AdVenture Capitalist. And if you don't have an Android or an iOS device, you can always play it on Steam.
Or direct download.
Which is, the fact that they're making it so, easy to access, that's a huge deal.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed it. Go play it. And that takes care of our trio of capitalist games.
Dystopian capitalism.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And it didn't occur to us until Rev brought it up.
It's all connected. See, in the timeline, everybody starts off as an adventure capitalist, and then you migrate into space and start fighting out the economic war in space. And then, you ruined the world. Now it's all dystopia. That's how it all ties together.
And you know what happens after all of that, and the world is almost coming to an end?
The end of
Another thing comes to an end.
The show comes to an end as the world comes to an end. Talk about a dystopia, but all good things must come to an end. For those of you who are in the chat or listening, everyone who's listening, just as a reminder, we do have a Patreon. If you like what we do and you want to help us grow, and we have we were talking about earlier about our 1-year anniversary. We have a whole bunch of plans to do even more than what we did this last year. You can help us by going to the patreon.com/Indie Game Riot, and you can just, any amount is really helpful, so we appreciate that so much. Secondly, if you are a game dev or know someone who is, you want to be featured on the show, you can contact us, and I can tell you how to do that. You can contact us on Twitter at IGR Podcast, Facebook.com/IGR Podcast. We're on, for those of you listening to the live stream, you can see our completed edited videos on IndieGameRiot.com, or if you're listening to the recorded version, check us out on hitbox.tv/JaShinYa to see our live show. And finally, you can email us, contact@IndieGameRiot.com. But, of course, all this information is on
IndieGameRiot.com.
Thank you. There it is. Let's see. Man, I'm so excited for the 1-year anniversary next week. Any last words?
Zip sticks.
Yeah, exactly. I look forward to the next episode, guys. It's been a year. Thank you for watching.
I'm the only one that's not drunk. Say goodbye.
Yes. See you next time, guys.
Have a good one, folks.
Toodles.